Okay, so we created the bowling ball within Blender. Now we want to see how we can have this converted to a CAD surface. So I have over here open CATIA and also Fusion, because we are going to move the 3D model created within Blender within both solutions. Now, since we added the subdivision on this, we see that the initial geometry looked like this. So we had that 64 segments for the sphere, but now with the subdivision, the geometry will be quite high. Therefore, I will go over here with the level viewport all the way to 1. And with this mesh, I'm gonna go and have this exported. I will use the OBJ file format. I will go on the desktop and I will call this bowling 1. And make sure that you only have the selected object over here, so that you will only transfer this. Now, within CATIA, I can jump in, and OBJ files usually are imported within the Imagine and Shape workbench. We can use the import subdivision over here, and we know that bowling 1 is the file that I just created now. So we see over here that file, 1 megabyte. So I'm going to double click on that, and we're going to see that we're going to have an error over here. So CATIA isn't able to import that, and this is one of the weaknesses of the Imagine and Shape workbench. If the meshes are let's say quite complex, or they have a high amount of faces, CATIA will struggle with those. But if you're going to take a look within Fusion, I have the possibility to go up to File, Open, and I can import directly the OBJ file over here. So we see that for the supported file, we have quite a wide variety. So we have other CAD formats like CATIA V5. We see the Creo files over here, SolidWorks, but we're also going to have the OBJ file. So I'm going to double click and select that bowling ball. And we're going to see how that will import. So Fusion was able to have that added, but we have this over here. So the mesh over here has a vertex that is connected to multiple elements. Now, in order to have this as editable, because currently this is just a mesh, within CATIA we try to import it within the Imagine and Shape workbench. We have the possibility to change the shape afterwards. Over here within Fusion, we're gonna need to go within the solid body over here. As you can see, within the solid we don't have the freeform over here added, but we're going to have the possibility to go over here within form. And one important aspect within Fusion, we see that we don't have the history when we are importing OBJ files, because the software won't be able to have that history, how this object was created. But we can enable that now by going over here and go to Capture Design History. We're going to see that that will appear at the bottom. And as soon as we enable that history, we have the possibility to create a form over here. So this is why initially I was searching for that form button. So within the form, we're going to see that the body will remain visible over here. And underneath the utilities, we're going to have the possibility to convert this. And within the conversion type, we can convert quad mesh to T-splines, and our object is a quad mesh, therefore we can do that. And over here we can define that new body where this will be created. Now, since we have that vertex over there, maybe Fusion will struggle, so let's take a look. I selected everything, I will click on OK, and now the software will start to process. So it's still working in the background. Since I also have CATIA opened, this will appear on the top, but we see that we have that form added within Fusion. So So even though we have this problem over here with that vertex, we have the possibility to do a topology within Blender so that all the model will be quads, and that will be useful. But now we have the possibility with edit form. I can select, for example, various faces, for example those points, and I can have those deformed. So I can go and have them translated, rotated, or scaled, and so on. So this is quite nice that Fusion is capable to work directly with that OBJ file. Therefore, within CATIA, we can take the same object within Imagine and Shape, since we received that error, but we have the possibility to go up to Shape, afterwards Digital Shape Editor, and have the model loaded over here. The only drawback is that over here we won't have the possibility to add that OBJ file format, and we're gonna use the older, let's say, STL file format. So within Blender, with the same object selected, I will go to Export STL, and I will call this bowling selected only, and I have the sphere selected. Afterwards, we see that this file was now created. So yeah, this is the current time. I will select that. I will apply, and we're gonna have that mesh added over here. If I'm gonna take a look at the wireframe, we're gonna see that the wireframe of this will be the same as the one within Blender or Fusion, and we still have this vertex over here, which is connected to a lot of elements. So, but now we have the possibility to use the other shape features within Quick Surface Reconstruction to have this converted. So I can make use of the automatic surface, the surface detail for this, for example 2000. I can click on preview, and we're gonna see how that will be defined. So in this case, let me add a little bit more. We see that for this model, this will be out of range, so let me just add in another value over here. But we're gonna see that the deviation for those cutouts will not be well defined if I don't change the surface mean deviation. So it used to be 0.1, and as soon as I added 0.01, we have those cutouts defined. So I can click on OK. Afterwards, I can hide the initial STL file, and we have those defined. So we can still improve the parameters over here, because these sections are not very, let's say, circular as we had them over here within Fusion. So keep in mind that you can still change over here the values. Let's go for a higher target ratio and also for a smaller mean deviation, so 0.05. I'm gonna hit preview, and we can go even lower, and this should become much more circular and rounded over there. But keep in mind that as soon as you go with a lower mean deviation surface, it will take additional time for CATIA to have that processed. But now we see that the mesh was recreated. So this is the surface. If I'm gonna hide the bowling ball, we're gonna have those better defined. So there are still some inconsistency over here, as we can see those faces. But as soon as we're gonna jump over here within this shaded view, we're gonna see how those will look. And at the end, you can go within part design, and you can have this defined as a closed surface. So as you can see, that managed to process, and we're gonna have the final result over here. But again, this requires additional tweaking over here, because the geometry is not that perfect. There are some overlapping faces over here, So they are not exactly overlapping, it's just, let's say the quad subdivision is not that well defined like it is over here within Fusion. So that's how you can transfer objects created within Blender to CAD solutions, so to CATIA or to Fusion 360, and have them as editable. In my opinion, Fusion has the better workflow for this. This is also the newer solution. Within CATIA, I will also try to do the same within 3D Experience, since that is the newest solution from the source system, and I will see how that will handle this. Okay, so I will position a similar video to the left of the screen. I will add a playlist to the top and also a subscribe button to the right. So I hope you find this video useful. Let me know in the comment section if you try this workflow or if you have any additional questions. So thanks for watching.